Well, it's official. The DA has elected John Steenhuisen as its interim leader. And he's been voted into office. It is for a period of 4 months. The DA will have a Congress in April 2020, and they will formalize their elections for a new leader. The elections come after the resignations of Mmusi, Maimane and Athol Trollip shortly after Helen Zille was elected as Federal Council chairperson. Now, for more analysis, let's welcome political analyst Mr. Levy Ndou. Thank you for joining us, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Now, John Steenhuisen has been elected as the interim leader for the next 4 months. Are there any surprises there? Are you surprised?
Not at all. With the experience that he has and the history that he has in the party, in the Democratic Alliance, I think the Democratic Alliance sat down and said, we need a person who has got a very good understanding of the background and where the Democratic Alliance is coming from and where the Democratic Alliance is supposed to go. And I think for me, he's going to be able to shape the Democratic Alliance in the next few months towards the conference. And even though he's an interim leader, the DA had no other option but to have leadership that must take the party through to policy and elective conference.
What do we know about his opponent, Makashule Gana? Are you surprised that he didn't make it?
We know a lot about Makashule Gana. He has been in the Democratic Alliance for a very, very long time. He has been representing the Democratic Alliance in the legislature in Gauteng, and has been involved in a number of activities of the Democratic Alliance. He was very instrumental in the election of Mmusi Maimane as the leader of the Democratic Alliance. So even though he has lost, he is not somebody new in the activities of the Democratic Alliance, and is one of those people that have been pushing for reforms within the Democratic Alliance. And I think he must just take it as a politician and say, I could not make it, but I can still support the current leadership and ensure that the Democratic Alliance grows.
He still has a job to do within the party, doesn't he?
He has a lot of job to do. He has been in the party for a very, very long time. He understands the dynamics within the Democratic Alliance. He has got sufficient support on the grassroots, especially in the Democratic Alliance. And I think the DA still needs Makashule to continue running in the Democratic Alliance.
Okay, so now April, come April, we have the 2020 Congress of the DA, where they will obviously formalize elections and have a more settled setup as far as their leadership is concerned. This will be crucial for the different scenarios for today. How different is the April election from today's process? Can you take us through the Congress process that we will face in 4 months' time?
What we need to note is that the Democratic Alliance now is in a very, very difficult situation, especially after the departure of Mmusi Maimane and the departure of Trollip and the departure of Helen Zille.
Yes.
Now, what the Democratic Alliance has to do is to create an element of stability within the party.
Yes.
And it is something that is not going to be easy for Steenhuisen. He must focus on his role in parliament.
Yes.
He must focus on leading the party. Number 3, if he still has ambitions to be the leader of the Democratic Alliance beyond the elective conference, he must then be able to ensure that his election machinery to be re-elected as the leader is actually functioning. So for me, Steenhuisen has a lot of work to do. But what then has to happen as well is that the different provinces, the different branches of the Democratic Alliance has to sit down and rearrange themselves in ensuring that when the elective conference comes, the Democratic Alliance should not be in disarray. They should be stronger and also at the same time become the most important opposition in South African politics. So what is happening now in the DA is to rearrange themselves, ensure that they build that coherence, and then at the same time make sure that none of the people who are in the DA do not have to move away from the party.
Of course. And of course, building the provinces and making them solid would be part of Steenhuisen's election strategy, should he choose to be, having those ambitions in April.
One of the biggest challenges facing the DA now is the statements that have been made by Herman Mashaba and Mmusi Maimane when they resigned.
Yes.
And you need the Democratic Alliance that should be trusted by those people who voted for them in the previous elections. The DA that must be trusted by those people who abandoned the DA in the previous elections, or rather the May elections.
Yes.
You need the DA to be able to attract more supporters and voters. So the current leadership has a very, very huge task to perform. And whether we like it or not, a lot of energy has to be redirected in ensuring that ordinary citizens have the new trust in the Democratic Alliance and prove that what Mashaba said, what Maimane said is not correct. We can still work together and have a stronger Democratic Alliance.
How damaging has the resignation of those three been for the party?
For me, it has created a huge damage. If you hear a leader of a party saying that I am leaving the party because I've identified extreme right-wing elements within the party, that message says to a black voter or to a black voter or a black supporter of the DA, you are in the wrong party. But then in the Democratic Alliance, you need the black vote if you need the Democratic Alliance to become the next government. So what do you do as the leader of the Democratic Party? You ensure that you are able to go out and mobilize sufficient support from the blacks and all racial groups within South Africa. Then the Democratic Alliance can then become a government.
Is there any truth to this allegation of right-wing elements having now taken center stage in the DA?
Well, you will actually need the leadership of the DA or those that are in the leadership of the DA to say so. But what we know is that these are statements that are not coming from ordinary people. These are statements that are coming from people who have been within the DA, people who have been in leadership positions of the DA. These are statements that are not coming from outside. But what we also do know is that there is now a talk of a black caucus within the Democratic Alliance. And for me, you don't need these different racial groupings in a political party. Because the Democratic Alliance is supposed to bring all people together and have one united political party. And if you then have these fragments, different groupings within the party, they're quite dangerous.
It's a kind of replication of apartheid, isn't it?
Indeed. And remember, the Democratic Alliance has to continuously prove to everybody that it is not a racist party. And if you hear a leader saying, I'm resigning because I've identified right-wing elements within the party, that's a very huge statement and it's quite damaging to
We'll come back to Steenhuisen in a moment. I just want to stay on this Mmusi Maimane situation. How likely is he to form a breakaway party, and how likely is he to take a large contingent of DA members with him?
Anything is possible. Firstly, Mmusi Maimane has actually decided to become a politician. And in the past 10 years or so, his life has been in politics. And it might be quite difficult for him to readjust and start a new life. So the possibility is, if he has sufficient support, or he has realized that there are a lot of people talking to him to form a new political party, that can still be possible. But what will be important will be, what will be the message of the new political party? Are they not going to replicate what other political parties are saying? And what impact would a new political party, if they decide to form it, what impact is it going to make amongst ordinary South Africans?
Let's just hold that thought. We're now going to go directly to the DA press briefing, which is just out. Let's take them live.